Hello and welcome to yet another video on 10x. So today we'll be tackling the question how we can work out 30 minutes a week, which is essentially the promise of the 10x workout, right? And I want to give you a small overview of how I do it. We'll go through some benefits of the 10x program, right? I have made ready here a workout demonstration of me where I'll show you exactly how it works, and so that you can exactly see, okay, this is what he means, this is what he means, and this is how it's actually possible, right? This is one of the two routines I do on a weekly basis, right? It's called the 10x Alpha routine. There are different routines. You can do it at the gym or at home. I did mine at the gym right now. So you see exactly, oh, cool. Yeah, this is how it actually works. And then we go a little bit more into the science here at the bottom, where I'll show you exactly, okay, this is more specifically how it works, but I'll already explain that in the video, so that you get a good overview and see, I can work out 30 minutes a week. So give me the benefit of the doubt, and I'll give you the knowledge of how it works. So first of all, you might think, sounds too good to be true. It actually does, for sure. It sounds ridiculous, I must say. But it is actually not, if we take a further look down here. So quickly want to highlight what 10x promises. So 10x is an exercise protocol that Lorenzo Delano, my head coach, has put together, and yeah, I'm now certified in the 10x method, which is all about whole body fitness optimized for your longevity. And the best thing is, in order to boost your longevity, because we might think like, okay, well, I'm relatively young, why should I think about that? Is if we want to live as long as possible, we have to take a look at, how can we live as healthy as possible, which is all also about building strength, building muscle, building endurance, looking good, right? Of course, not excessively good, because there are downsides to that, but having a very healthy and fit body is correlated directly with longevity, which is so great, right? But let me say, 10x promises that it's an all-in-one workout. We have to also, to a certain extent, because we promise that it's only 30 minutes a week. We split that in two exercise routines, right? So we have to target your whole body. So we target all the major muscle groups in your body, right? The legs, the lower body, the upper body, the front of the body and the back of the body, right? And try to target all the pull and push movements of the body, right? So that in the end, at the workout, we've targeted your whole body, and we've targeted the different modes of exercise, right? Sounds sciencey, but it's just about, like, you can exercise in different forms, right? You can do like, let's say, running, which is more like the prolonged endurance training. You could do a high intensity training, right, which is relatively short and intensive, or you could do pure strength training, which is about really producing maximum peak muscular force straight away, right? And it exists kind of in a continuum that we can see, like, how elevated is the heart rate there. And we try to put that all together and have developed a program that can do that. Strength, hypertrophy training, so in the high intensity realm, and endurance training. I'll show you in a second. So, of course, we promise 30 minutes a week, right? And we've really sourced the biomarkers and the exercise principles that we target here within 10x very carefully, so that we can live up to that promise of you actually get the whole body total fitness results that we promise, right? I'll get into that a bit later, and you'll understand it more, right? And most importantly, we say you do not have to sacrifice results, right? In fact, more often than not, I see people having more results with that kind of training, because you're really doing it based on scientific principles. Often people just do reps and expect something to happen, or just go running and feel fit. But there's more to fitness than one specific type of exercise. So we would have to combine strength training and muscle building training and endurance training, right? There are of course more things like being flexible and stuff like that, but that is of a less priority straight away in order to get to total fitness, right? So we promise that you get a whole body result that you get from your training before, right? And it will serve you as a lifelong fitness foundation. Great. Okay, some talking. Let's get into the meat of things here. I have recorded my workout. Let's see that we can mute me. Very nice. So, here you can see I started straight away. I had my phone right there that I track my workout on. So how many reps did I do, how much weight did I do, but also the time it takes me to perform the workout, because that's very important, because you can lift a lot in general, but if you're in the gym for 2 hours, then it was stretched so much, right? So we compress that time so that we really can target as effectively as possible your strength, hypertrophy, so which is about gaining muscle mass, and endurance, right? And you see here, my repetitions are relatively slow, right? I've at the start directly selected a load which is very heavy for me, which is about 70% of my maximum. So we get that strength component in there, right? And I'm doing it for about a minute and 20 seconds. Yeah, I hit my new high score here. So we want to do approximately 12 repetitions with this slow cadence, right? And when I finish and can't push any longer, which I couldn't do right now, I go quickly to the next exercise. And you see, I have a bit of problems walking because I've fully exerted myself, right? Only one set here, complete exertion with a slow cadence, right? And what that does is, because I had like approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds, is that we target my muscles, right? So is the mechanical tension on the muscles, that they're under load, but also I target my metabolism, so that burn that builds up. You know that when you're in the gym, the burn that builds up, that is for your metabolism, right? And we try to max out both these things at the same time, which is at about a minute, right? So first selecting the heavy load that I can't lift anymore after about 12 repetitions, right? And where the lactic acid really builds up. So the first ones I can still do relatively well. That is really good, right? Because you have different muscle fibers in your body, right? From smaller ones to the bigger ones here. So at the start we target the smaller ones here. Right now it's a back exercise, the lat pull down, right? We target the smaller ones, and it's still like relatively good to lift, right? But the longer it progresses, the more force I have to exert in order to get this weight pulled down again. So I have to progressively produce way more force. And what that does is that we recruit all your muscle fibers from beginning to end. In this whole workout, right? Every single exercise, we do that same principle, right? Because we want to target your whole, all muscle groups, right? Here it's really hard. I really have to push, and all muscle fibers, like the strong muscle fibers that you would use by, like for example, like a sprinter, right? She uses all of them, and has to use all of them to be as quick as possible, right? But here I tried to be as quick as possible, but it was impossible, right? You try to pull it down, but it was very hard, right? Perfect. Now I tell this guy here, okay, can I jump in? I only have one I only literally have one set that I have to do to failure, right? We always go to failure because then in the end, as I said, we have recruited all the muscle fibers, and that's that strong stimulus for the body that says, wow, I need to start adapting now because this is really difficult for me, right? And I try to go as quickly as possible to the next exercise here, which is the chest press. You see the rhythm. We target the legs first, then the back, and now the front of the body, right? As I told you, it's a whole body workout, right? It's heavy enough, strength again, right? We have the hypertrophy principles, which we will go into after the video, and the endurance, because it's prolonged production of force here, right? And the thing you see here with me is that I never rest my muscles, right? Even if I hold it here for a certain amount of time, right? It never touches the bar again, so that my muscles can't rest, which is just me wanting to get the maximum result for my metabolism, right? I don't want the burn to stop, because the burn is a trigger for muscle building. We want it to be as high as possible, right? So this is why I don't pause here during the whole exercise. Always keeping going and always keeping the muscles contracted, right? And I try to go as quickly as possible to the next exercise, right? The workout is relatively challenging, so I'm still walking and not jogging, but I'm still having a good pace to do that, right? Exactly. And now I get to the second circuit. So we do 2 circuits. First, you saw the first 3 exercises, right? Which was about the legs, the posterior chain, which is about the back, and the anterior chain here is about the front, right? And now we do that again because your muscle groups need about 3 minutes to recover relatively well, right? So I can do another set, but after like the second circuit, so again, legs, back and front of the body, I am very, very exerted, as you will also see right now. The second leg press is very difficult. You see here, the cadence is about 5 seconds. I try to push 1 second hard up and immediately down for 3 seconds. I hold 1 second and I push up 1 second again. I just do that because like this one this is the hardest movement, right? The push, right? But the coming back is also very, very important because I can produce more force while coming back, right? So we try to prolong that time to keep the muscles under as much tension as possible. And I hold at the hardest point right there. You see, I hold, and it gets really difficult because then that's the hardest part of the movement and will induce even greater results for my training there. And here it was very, very difficult. I couldn't push anymore. I'm also doing this training since about 5 months now, 5 to 6 months. So I'm also used to pushing myself that much, right? If you're beginning out, then we'll do a bit less and slowly but surely progressing. Because if we only exercise so less, we also have to get a strong stimulus for your body, right? Very nice. So we have the 5-second cadence there that I explained, that is really present in all the exercises if you've seen it, right? With the row, it will be 1 second pull, 1 second hold, and then 3 seconds down. And we try to go with the full range of motion here. So you saw also with the leg press, I didn't push like a bit only, but I went with the full range of motion, which is just about giving you greater muscle damage. And you know that microphobic tears in the muscles also induce muscle gains, right? You see here, 1 second pull, 1 hold, and 3 seconds down, full range of motion, and pull again. Very slow, very controlled. The injury risk is very low. Joint wear and tear as well. So it's not crazily jumping and going into weird positions for your joints, but very natural movements there, right? And now it gets again relatively difficult for me, right? See that these muscle fibers, right? These ones are slowly fatigued, and now I really have to give my best so that all the muscle fibers in the end are completely fatigued, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I try to give my all, right? When you don't think you can do it anymore, you just still try. Here, I still try. I can't, I can barely get it there again, right? Still try your best, and then I slowly put it down again. 5 exercises in. In total, we have 6 exercises, right? That was again the back, the second exercise of the back. You see now I'm walking relatively slowly. It's challenging. But the last one is the shoulder press, right? To get into the front of the body again a bit, but also, yeah, the shoulders as well, because they're also really, really important. But if you have the right shoulder press, you'll also target like chest and shoulders. Very nice. Last one here. You see the 5-second cadence here as well. If you take a look at it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is very important, really. Just induces greater results with the repetition you do, right? It's not just about doing reps and reps and reps. It's about the quality of the stimulus that you get in the end, which is what we try to maximize here, right? We always want to go to the 12 repetitions, just because if you do 1 repetition 5 seconds and you do 12 repetitions, you max out your capabilities at about 1 minute, right? So yes, now it gets really heavy. Very nice. Exactly. You max out at about 1 minute, which is then, as I explained, you not being able to produce force with your muscles anymore. I looked insanely weirdly. Very nice. Yes, my friend accidentally stopped here as well. I just did my last rep there. And it's very challenging. So at the end, you really have to calm down for a couple of minutes. But the 1 minute is really, you can't produce force anymore, and your metabolism says, oh, this burn, like, I also couldn't push it more because of the burn that accumulated in my muscles, right? Yeah, exactly, and that's how you get everything stacked into the workout, right? You see here, even like it's not, I don't even exercise 15 minutes. It's about 11 minutes and 30 seconds in the end. Let's say 11 minutes, 30 seconds. You get to that when you get better. The best I did was 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Way more is very difficult because you can't like jog to the next exercise, because if you select the loads that are heavy enough, right? And obviously, like if I'm getting better here, I always want to get better. If I get better, I choose higher loads, right? So that I make use of the overload principle, right? I always want to overload my muscles and my body so that I stay at my 12 repetition maximum, right? Very, very nice. So that is literally the whole 10x workout, which I do twice a week, right? Let me quickly go here into, okay, summarizing how to work out 30 minutes a week. As I said, you would do the 10x alpha routine, which is the main routine. I recommend to do it in the gym because it's easiest and most effective. Here's a small checklist, right? We took a look at, okay, what does the science say? What is the minimum effective dose of exercise or of stimulus that we have to give our body in order to adapt, right? And we took a look at 10% of the actions that produce 90% of the results. Comes from the Pareto principle, which found out that about 80% of our results are produced by 20% of the actions we take, right? And we've tried to maximize that even more, which is where 10x also comes in, the 10x principle, right? Yes, very nice. So all in one workout, as I said, it combines strength, muscle building training and endurance training. Of course, there are more modes of exercise, right? You go, oh, this is not there, this is not there, but these are the most foundational, basic ones that you will be able to translate into different types of exercises, but also daily movements, right? You saw, like, the exercises I did were relatively basic movements, actually, right? It's like very natural, like we're pushing something, we're taking something to us, right? We are going down, or we are pushing something away. We are wanting to get something up, we're wanting to get something down, right? Basic movements that will be able to translate in other sports, right? But these three here is how we did it, makes it most natural, right? Because it's also prolonged and not like peak. As we go here in the strength one, in the strength component of the whole thing is we don't want to just measure your peak performance, right? So your 1 repetition max for bench press doesn't tell us so much of what you're capable of. It is helpful, yes, but it is not super practical, because there's rarely something where you have to make 1 rep max in your daily life, right? Rather, you would have to make like sustained force or strength production, right? So let's say you're working in the garden and you have to lift something heavy. You're not just lifting it and then letting it fall again. No, you try to lift it and carry it somewhere, right? This is where 10x comes in, because we do something, produce the strength prolonged, right? Over this 11, 12 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So we target your strength here, because we take 70% of your 1 rep max, goes in the strength direction, and it goes deeper and deeper the longer the exercise goes. It targets the whole body, not just one muscle group, like 1 rep bench press or 1 rep squat, right? We target all the muscle groups, and it mimics the natural movements, as I said, right? So this is the strength component. The muscle component is just, there is an adaptive triangle for hypertrophy, which is just about, okay, what are the principles that trigger muscle growth, right? And I don't want to get too deep into these, but most of them I mainly already explained. Is the mechanical tension, so the tension you put under your muscles, which is the main principle, that's why it's at the bottom, to induce like your muscle growth, right? Which is about progressively overloading the body, the muscles, obviously, right? We have that, it's a check. The mind-muscle connection, we teach that in the program, right? But I personally do that within the exercise there as well. The metabolic stress is the second most important, as I said, is feeling the burn, getting the pump, right? After a workout, you have that pump, right? It's also higher reps. We sacrifice that a bit to be able to make it very short. But the most important thing is that there are some biological principles, but that your like lactate is high, that the acidity in the body builds up, your pH drops and stuff like that, and we prolong that over the whole 11 minutes and keep it really high, right? No pauses, for instance, which is where the shorter rest periods come in. No pauses during the exercise and in between exercises. And last thing is the muscle damage. You saw that I went down for 3 seconds, the eccentric movement, right? This is about the muscle lengthening. For example, if I, like the last pull down, I pull it, and then I go down again, my muscle lengthens, and when it's lengthening and it's under force, then it increases the damage dealt to the muscle, and therefore increases our hypertrophy. Full range of motion, I always went the full range of motion, because that has been shown to induce greater results, and also the novelty of the exercise there. Which is important, which is at the end, which we sacrifice a little bit. If you would do a lot of different sports, then you would always have new muscles and movements to engage, which would increase the muscle damage, right? So if you're a runner and you go with your buddy to the gym and all of a sudden you think like, whoa, what's going on? Then this was a novel movement. So we sacrificed that a bit, right? But there's always a certain payoff, right? And as I said here, right, we have the muscle fibers here, which are the units here. We go from the start where it's still, it's all right to push, it's heavy, but it's all right to push, right? Until the end where it's like, okay, Rambo, let's go, let's crush it. I have to give my all in order to get it one last time, right? So we recruited your whole motor units, as you call them, which goes in the mechanical tension principle, right? And last but not least, we have the endurance component, which is the least of them, of the three, because it would be even more effective if you would, for example, go running, right? But that comes at a cost of a lot of time if you don't have that, right? It would be a bonus if you would do that on top of 10x, which I personally do to get the best results. But we target here not only the sustained, like you would do in a running, but also peak force production over time, right? So because endurance, you can also have like across these 15 or 11 minutes across the workout, right? So we produce a lot of force over 11 minutes, right? Or we produce force over 1.5 hours when we go running. Both is endurance, right? But the peak production that we do with 10x will translate partly also in your capabilities in running longer, because we are targeting the capabilities of the heart, so your heart workload, how much is your heart able to work, and the energy production capabilities in your muscles, right? It's just like your metabolism, like how well does it work, right? Yeah, because we put demands on the different muscle fibers, right? These ones, different muscle fibers, all of them, right, in the whole body, right? So from the beginning to the end, and your whole body gets a whole stimulus, right? Not just your legs, right? Which comes down to the endurance part. And this is how we max out your strength, your muscle mass, or not max out, but get the minimum effective dose, which gets us the most results for our strength, our muscle mass, and our endurance, which has been shown in scientific data that these are the three most important things to predict how healthy we'll be, simply put, right? We'll go more into that in the program design there, but this is how I personally am able to keep the key foundation for my fitness with 30 minutes a week of training, which you can then top up for sure. That is not a problem, and that is even great, right? But we always want to keep a strong foundation in our life. And as I said, it's a lifelong thing. You will always be able to do it. At the start, you get better, but then you hold the level as long as possible and think of you doing the 10x workout for 50 years. To think, whoa, with, let's say, 70, you are still so strong, and that gets your health up, which in turn very qualitatively impacts your longevity in the end. Check out my video on longevity, on how 10x impacts longevity, if you want to know more about that. I'll link it here up top in the right, and also a link to this small article so that you can take a look again for yourself. Yes, wonderful. So I hope you have understood how to work out, how it's possible to work out 30 minutes a week and be completely fit, right? Total body fitness, right? And yes, that is the word of the day from me. This is Coach Aaron signing out and wishing you an extraordinary day.